Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the session of FinTech Advisors. We at FinTech believe that this type of continuous education platform is needed, much needed for all of us professionals to keep on updating ourselves. And that is why today we are also coming up with a new session on a very interesting topic. And we'll be sharing our website link and all in the chat box. People can also look at all the blogs and the upcoming events, and we will make sure to keep you updated on all the recent changes, whether in the Indian laws as well as the international laws. With this, I would ask Mr. C.S. Ritik Baheti to introduce today's speaker. Ritik, over to you.
Hi, hi Neeraj. Congratulations on your book, recently launched book.
Thank you.
Going through it today. Good evening, friends. It is my privilege to introduce our esteemed speaker today, who will be shedding light on the recent changes in the under key development under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, a subject that is crucial for professionals, business, and compliance officers alike. Our esteemed guest, Ms. Shilpa Kiran Guddu, a seasoned practicing company secretary with over 22 years of experience in corporate compliance, valuation, and insolvency. She is a registered valuer, securities of financial asset, and insolvency professional, and a certified peer reviewer of company secretaries. She had done her bachelor's degree from University of Mumbai, bachelor's of law from Bangalore University, and master's in business law from the prestigious National Law School, Bangalore. Ma'am currently serves as an independent director on the board of two companies, one listed and another soon to be listed on the SME exchange. She had been the compliance officer of Unnati, the first Section 8 company listed on the NSE stock exchange. She had issued over 100 valuation reports across a range of startup businesses. She represents clients before the NCLT on matters related to company law and IBC. She is the founder, member, and past president of the Bangalore Valuer Association. She is also a regular faculty and speaker of RVOs, ICSI, MBA institutes on topics related to valuation, company law, FEMA, and IBC. It is an honor to introduce her. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ritik, for this introduction. Shilpa ji wears many hats, and I'm sure today's session is going to be very enlightening for all the participants. I would request all the participants, if they have any query during the session, they can just write in the chat box or raise their hands. We will have brief intervals between the segments in which those questions can be discussed. Thank you all, and I will also request everybody to keep mute so that there is no disturbance during the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Neeraj.
With this, Shilpa ji, over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. A very warm good evening to all the participants. It's my pleasure to address all of you on such a relevant topic on migration of annual filing forms from V2 to V3 by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The expectation while doing annual filing forms is that, all the information has to be kept ready. And then we can start annual filing forms, because there are so many fields which are newly inserted, and so many fields are validated with already the information which are being furnished to the MCA. That one profession, especially if we are giving all this information to the trainees, it becomes very difficult for a trainee without having a proper training to continue with the MCA filing. So I suggest that when any professional is starting to do the annual filing forms, they have to first have a checklist very well ready as to what is the information expected in the forms, in the new forms. So many fields, as I have said, are inserted newly. So have a checklist, have all the information ready, maybe relook at the AGM documents. It could be the director's report or the annexures or the AOC1, AOC2, very well ready, verified with the new forms, and then proceed to start the annual filing forms. As we all know, V3 portal was not available from 9th July 2025 to 13th July 2025. And with effect from 14th July 2025, the new forms have been released. This migration from V2 to V3 is a step beyond compliance. Now, the ministry has enabled a system wherein the software in the backend is able to take all the information like as if it's an XML information. Earlier, only XBRL information, they had this XML wherein all the data could be collected, collated, all the information, e-notices and all e-hearings, all this compliance monitoring is very well easy with the help of MCA in V3 portal. The main objective of this V3 migration is to enable the e-governance. So here's the catch. Whenever any professional or whenever any company is doing these annual filings, they have to be extra careful because there is a real-time data validation. And a lot of information is captured and validated then and there itself, unlike a V2 version wherein we had to download the forms, fill, upload, and after some time we used to get resubmission in few cases with respect to annual filings. The main differences between V2 and V3, whereas in V2 forms, most of the forms are downloadable. All the forms are being filled offline and then uploaded. Whereas in MCA V3, all the forms are online web forms, but with an exception only of AOC4, AOC4 CFS, AOC4 NBFC, and MGT7. MGT7A also. All these are online and offline, both options are available. Other than these forms, all other forms are online forms only. And with respect to login, with respect to V3, we have company login also, professional login also. Both logins are permitted. As per the recent circulars issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, almost 38 forms have been migrated from V2 to V3. But the present session, we will be focusing only on the annual filing forms, mostly AOC4, MGT7, and I think because of the paucity of time, we will not be able to cover any other forms with respect to annual filing, other than annual filing. MCA, because of this migration, MCA has extended the fees for certain annual filing forms. So just to give an explanation of this circular which has come recently, wherever the company for annual form filing due date is falling between 18th June 2025, that is when the V2 portal went down, till 31st July 2025, only in those cases, the extension has been given for 15th August 2025. Let us understand this extension circular with the help of an example. Suppose the financial year ending December, in that case of company, the EGM was 1st June 2025, and today being 30th July 2025, the ADT1 form, as we all know, the due date is 15 days from the date of EGM, that is 16th June. In this case, 16th June 2025, V2 version was available. The company were able to file the form ADT1. So now, in this case, because the due date of ADT1 is not falling between 18th June 2025 to 31st July 2025, no extension can be granted to file this ADT1. Suppose today I want to file this ADT1, normal additional fees is applicable. However, in case of AOC4 and MGT7, again, we have to cross-check with each of the form what is the due date. In the present case, as per the date given in my example, both AOC4 and MGT7 due date is falling within this window of 18th June to 31st July. So extension will be applicable and then the due date will be 15th August 2025. Any form which is filed before 15th August 2025, there will be no additional fees. And one of the modification in this V3 annual form filing is Form CSR2 and AOC4 CS are now linked form to AOC4 as well as AOC4 XBRL. However, there could be certain situations wherein Form AOC4 is filed in V2 form, but whatever situation, the company was not able to file AOC4 CFS and Form CSR2. Only in those cases, MCA has provided the separate form filing for AOC4 CFS and form CSR2. On to the next circular. This circular is about filing of CSR2 summary. Because now the form CSR2 is a linked form and the companies cannot separately file CSR2, separate window has been given to all the companies whoever were not able to file CSR2 in the V2 form. This window is open between 14th July 2025 to 15th August 2025. And this is applicable for companies which all these AOC4 or AOC4 XBRL or AOC4 NBFC is already filed at V2 portal. This is a one-time relief. So I request all the professionals, in case for any company you have missed to file CSR2 for any of the previous financial years, please, and for which AOC4 is already filed in V2 portal, please do not miss this window and complete the filing before 15th August 2025. After which no separate form CSR2 is available and compliance will not be possible in that scenario. This I have already explained. Till now, any queries?
If anybody has any query, they can unmute themselves, or even if they don't want to unmute, they can just write in the chat box also, we'll read it out.
Yeah, we shall proceed.
Yeah, we can proceed.
I would like to show the form AOC4. This is the form which we get after filling either online or offline, and this form will have to be sent for digital signature of the directors. In the new MCA version 3, the board audit along with the AOC4, we will have a linked form, auditor's report, board's report, AOC4 CFS and CSR2 if applicable. Once the SIN or the name of the company is entered, all these fields are getting pre-filled in the MCA portal with respect to AOC4. Say, for example, this email ID of the company in version V2, company was able to edit and give in fact, this annual return company used to modify the email ID in case wherever there was a change. But presently, this option is not available. In case the company, whatever is in email ID is pre-filled, it is not the correct email ID. The company has to create a login ID for itself using the email ID of the company. Then in the profile of the company, this email ID profile, in the profile option, email ID can be modified. All other information is regular to the previous, wherever the information is same as the earlier version V2, we are not focusing. We are only focusing on the revisions made in the MCA V3 annual filing circulars. Earlier, there was no specific mention of the revision of the financial statements. Now, the present AOC4 has given the option either to revise the financial statements or the director's report or both. Accordingly, we have to select the right option in the nature of revision in the form AOC4. Whenever there is any revision in the AOC4, it has to be backed by an NCLT order. Hence, the new version, new AOC4 form captures the information of the INC 28 SRN, wherein the company has filed the NCLT order with the ROC. And the system also expects the SRN of the AOC4 already filed and date of the NCLT order. Next point, whenever the company was getting into CIRP process, that is the insolvency bankruptcy code is triggered, the IRP and RP were expected to file the financials as if on a going concern basis, but there was no specific way of enabling their digital signatures. Now, IRP, RP along with the directors are eligible to sign the financials and they can file the form AOC4. Same is the case with signatories of the board report. Even IRP, RP report all are authorized. One of the other new insertion in Form AOC4 is the reference to the extension of AGM GNL1. So whenever any company is filing GNL1 for extension of AGM and the AGM extension is obtained, that SRL has to be provided here. And what was the due date as per the extension application submitted by the company has to be entered here. In the earlier version V2, the information about associate joint venture was not captured. So when we give this information with respect to subsidiary company section, whether it is an associate company or joint venture, the relevant AOC1 information linked form will be enabled. Only if we click yes, AOC1 will get available for the professional to fill, or else if we fill no, then it is not possible. One more important thing to be remembered with respect to V3 form is either the form can be taken online or offline. That I will talk about slightly later. The next point in the AOC4 is with respect to auditor information. Once the SRN of ADT1 is filled, all other information is getting pre-filled automatically, and the system is picking from the ADT1 filed by company for the complete 5 years. This is an information which we have to fill in. Details of the members signing for the above form. In case if audit firm is appointed as statutory auditors, the name of the member who is signing the audit report also has to be given. In a couple of cases, we have seen that, the form is asking for PAN of the person who is signing the auditor, but in the relevant case in this company, the system, we were not asked this information. Again, there is this new insertion because all the information is a linked form, whether consolidated financial statements required or not. If we click yes, then the linked form AOC4 CFS is applicable. In case we are filing online, linked form is applicable. In case we are filing offline, there is a different set of questions which will be asked, and the Excel utility will accordingly be opening up. As per the Schedule 3 of the Companies Act, the company is expected to round off the balance sheet and the P&L figures with respect to either thousands, lakhs or crores, wherever nearest to the, wherever it is applicable. But the form AOC4, including the FAQs which were released by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, are specifying that the form AOC4 has to be filled with respect to actual rupees only. Rounding off is not being permitted. So any professional who is filling the annual filing forms have to take the Excel, try to match it with the PDF to the extent of rounding or non-rounding, and then proceed to fill the form. This is a mandatory provision, and the professional will not have any option to enter it in rounded off numbers. And the new validation tool, what the ministry has provided is the previous year financials numbers. In my case, 31st March 2024 will be auto-filled by picking the numbers from the earlier AOC form which the company has filed. Because of this reason, we suggest that all the forms have to be filed sequentially. Say, for example, today, I have certain forms for a particular company for which AOC4 was not filed for 23, 24, 25. I should not straight away proceed with 25. I should start with 23, then 24, then 25. And when the previous year information is pre-filled, this option is given, reason for change in pre-filled figures of previous reporting period. This reason is not really a mandatory field, but then the reasons can be either regrouping or any other option. Whatever is the reason can be provided, but that is not a mandatory field. As per the standard Schedule 3 of the balance sheet, MSME dues and non-MSME dues trade payable was actually there in the format, but earlier AOC4 was not capturing this information. This information is now picked up. We can see from the ministry various circulars that dues to MSME is always getting highlighted when we have separate MSME form half yearly which we are filing, and now this also directly the company is able to match Say, for example, this again, I want to say that, some figures like this, it is very easy for the system. So any MSME dues are given here, and then the company has not filed Form MSME. So in future, there is a possibility that the company may get e-notices or, anything like that, wherein the company automatically show cause notices system can generate. No other specific changes in all this. Sometimes the previous reporting period information is not pre-filled. We have to pre-fill. We have to fill. All this is more a repetition of whatever was there in earlier B2 form. With respect to details of trade receivables, earlier there was specific reference to any dues which are receivable less than 6 months and exceeding 6 months. That breakup is not required to be given in this AOC4. That's a minor change in the disclosures. No other changes in all these fields. I just had a point with respect to unhedged foreign currency exposure. In case the company is having any exports or imports, and there is any receivable or payable in foreign currency, and the company has not taken any steps for hedging. At that time, the company, the professional has to calculate, identify the dues, payables or receivables which are unhedged and give the information here. It is not with respect to transactions, but as of a balance sheet date 31st March 2025, in case that is
And this seems to be recently added, right? Unhedged
this was
foreign-
there before also, but somehow the professionals were not really focusing and not filling it. It was there in B2 also.
It was there in B2.
Yeah, but many professionals have actually were not actually filling this information by oversight.
Okay.
Ma'am, for the benefit of the participant, can you just, if you have this knowledge of whether what we mean by unhedged foreign exchange exposure? I can
Okay.
understand foreign exchange exposure, but what is unhedged foreign exchange exposure?
This is with respect to the concept of hedging. Okay. Whenever any foreign currency exposure is there, either receivable or payable by the company, considering the various fluctuations in the foreign exchange, the company, if they take hedging is a product offered by the banks, wherein you safeguard your position, right? Like something like a forward contract. You enter into a contract with the bank saying that after say 2 months, you require so-and-so US dollars or Singapore dollars, whatever, depending upon your exposure. And then take a forward contract with them. And that is the whole concept of hedging. If you have not protected your foreign currency exposure, then that is unhedged foreign currency exposure, which has to be given here.
Ma'am, this data will be available in the director's report, or where can the CS or the professional who is filling up the AOC will find this data?
This has to be calculated by the professional whoever is filling the form. Basically, this is mandatory in case of, not mandatory, it happens whenever there is any foreign exchange inflow or outflow, earnings, exports and imports. Normally, few at least, some receivables or payables could be there.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Whenever this form is being filled online, this total premium, certain validation errors are coming. So as whatever, sometimes, we fill the information and the system throws, especially at the beginning of the year and all, even though the field is there, it is not expected to be filled. So whenever any information is wrongly filled, we will get a validation error that this is not to be filled. So we can go back, edit the form and remove the wrong entries. Here I have a concern, even though this place of V2 is same like V2 and V3, but if I have two different classes, then in this particular place AOC4, I do not have any option. So here, preference shares at the beginning of the year, I may have to club both the classes. In case the face value is different, then also everything has to be added and disclosed here. This is in fact one of the suggestions, whereas to MCA that whereas in MGT7, there is a specific class-wise disclosure which is required. In AOC4, this is not actually there presently. At the time of demonetization, this SBN, specified bank notes disclosure were required to be given. So in case The company is filing the returns, the AOC for the financial ending 31st March 2026 or calendar year December. At that time only this information will get highlighted, or else this is not a mandatory information normally. With respect to cost records and cost audit also, we have a new insertion. Earlier, there was only the concept of whether maintenance of records is required, not required. Now, the company wherever the cost audit is applicable, that applicability also has to be highlighted. And in case yes, the CETA, Central Excise Tariff Act heading is also. In fact, Excise Act is not applicable now with GST and all of that, but still that CETA tariff, identifying the heading and all is still recognized in a couple of places like this. Now we are coming to P&L aspect of the financials.
So I would just interrupt you 1 second. Anybody have any question till this segment?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes,
Ma'am,
sir.
see, all this while in the V2 thing, we were able to fill the forms parallelly. It means my office can fill 10 forms at a different location. Now, since it is online and I can log in only once, 10 people cannot log in into the system at a time. So one person will have to fill the form once at a time as a single point of time. Is there any remedy for that?
Actually, here I want to say there is certain user-specific issue. What I mean is, MCA V3 portal is designed for multiple logins. So, for example, in my team, I have 5 members. All the 5 members can simultaneously log in and do the online filing. But few users are able to do it, but few users are not able to do it. The moment another team member joins, it will be logged out. So it is still a mystery as to why V3, for few logins, it is permitting multiple login. And for few users, it is not permitting. Only single person can log in at one time. So you can keep trying whether your login is permitting this, feature or not. Another option is we have this Excel offline utility, which I'll be showing after this form. Offline, we can fill the form and then upload it and have validated in the MCA portal. That is another option. Third option which I suggest is the professionals can create a login ID for the entity itself, that is for the company, and then have all the company filings in the same ID of the company. At that time, one team member would have logged in professional's ID, another team member would have logged in company's login ID. So continuously online, it is permitted. These 3 options are there.
Thank you, ma'am.
With respect to P&L, this is a new insertion. Earlier, V2 form was not capturing the details of the other income with respect to dividend or interest or sale of investments. We just had one option, other income. Now, this bifurcation is also required. Obviously, because this is a new form, previous year data will not get pre-filled. We have to pre-fill it. No other changes are there in the P&L information. Contribution made under subsection 3 of section 182. This is a new insertion. The ministry would like to know under section 182.3, this is applicable for political contributions. So if the company is doing any political contributions, the same has to be captured here. Here again, principal product and all, this is no change. This information disclosure about related party transactions. In case if we say yes, then only the linked form AOC2 will be opening up. In case we say no, then the system will not show any linked up forms. In Excel, the Excel utility of AOC1 will get activated only when we click here. So let's consider in an example that I am creating an offline form wherein Excels are getting generated, and by mistake I have clicked no, whereas as a matter of fact there were related party transactions and AOC2 was applicable. So what I have to do, I have done all that Excel filling, I have filled everything, I have saved everything, but then I realized this mistake. So I go back and edit the form by saying yes. At that time what happens? Again, a new blank Excel utility will get generated. So whatever I have already filled in, it's actually of no use. The content, cell content cannot be copy paste. Inside the cell content, I can copy paste that, but full sheet cannot be copy pasted. Rows and columns together cannot be copy pasted. So whenever any offline utility is being selected, the professional has to be very careful in understanding, especially where the linked forms or additional Excel utilities are required. Same thing, CSR applicability. As and when it is applicable, then only the linked forms will get generated. The secretarial audit information which is being captured here in AOC4 again is a new insertion. Earlier, this point of, a number of observations made, details of the signatories, actually I could not recollect any place where all this information was required to be filled, but all this information is now required to be filled in new form. Address of the secretarial auditor, COP, membership number, FRN, name of the firm, category of secretarial auditor, whether it is an individual or a partnership firm, number of observations made by the secretarial auditor, whether any qualifications, PAN of the secretarial auditor or firm, and date of signing secretarial audit report. Now we are coming to the end of this AOC4. Here, this word board's report is not specifically added, but it is understood that the company has to attach the full set of signed financials, including balance sheet, P&L, board report, audit report, and if AOC1 is applicable, that AOC2, CFS is applicable, even that. All the documents have to be attached, except secretarial audit report, which has to be separately attached to the AOC4.
Hi, Shilpa, I have a question here.
Yes.
Can we not attach director's report in optional attachments? Or like we can do either?
In the optional attachments, no specific mention is there in board's report, as I have told, but it suggested that all the financial statements, because the word used is copy of financial statements, including doesn't mean board's report is excluded.
Okay.
So when I take that mention, better to mention point E. Yeah, here only one digital signature of the director is sufficient in this form, followed by a practicing professional, in case it is other than a small company. I have completed AOC4 simple form. Can we proceed to the extract of auditor's report? Anyone else has any
One
questions?
question, ma'am. So here also in V3, they have not given the option to affect the TSC online. So you have to download the form and affect the TSC for
Yes.
annual fees also.
Yes.
So ultimately, the offline thing has to be there. Some way they are not completely going ahead with the entire online filing.
Correct. Agreed. And it's again mismatch. So when we say online, there also sometimes, Excel utilities have to be downloaded, filled, and then uploaded. So it's neither totally online or neither totally offline. Even offline, if I say, again, validation has to happen online. The creation of the Excel file itself, again, lot of forms to be filled in. So yes, you are right. Neither it's totally online nor totally offline.
Anybody has any question regarding AOC before we move to the second segment? Anybody has any question, they can unmute themselves or write in the chat box also.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
One is today I had uploaded this AOC for XBRL. Now, in that form, when I had created it, two more AOC4 are automatically got prepared. I don't know how, and there is no option to cancel it also. I'm not able to do anything. Neither I'm able to cancel it, and there is no option to upload or do anything else. So, like automatically by time, will it get deleted on its own or it will be there?
Actually, I think it's a user specific issue. So maybe raising a complaint will be of some help for you.
Okay. And another question I had was I have not actually understood this concept of online, these Excel utilities like CSR and all. So when you say Excel utilities, does it mean that first we have to upload the Excel utility and then we have to upload the form, or it's like vice versa? I'm sorry.
Yeah, actually, I will come there, but quickly I'll just clarify your
Okay.
doubt and then proceed.
Then another
So this
question,
is a
if it is form, if suppose CSR2 is also uploaded as a form. So first we have to upload CSR2 form and then upload the AOC4 form, how it works. So both the things you can please explain.
yeah. So with respect to just now, we have seen how the form gets generated for digital signature, either online or offline, and what are the new fields. Now I'm coming to the point of AOC4. I have to generate an offline form wherein the Excel utilities will get generated. Now, what is the process? Okay. So for that information, I have to fill a lot of information. If you can see, almost 7 pages is this, PDF approximately, wherein I have the company information, then I give the financial year information, the board meeting information, what is the nature of the financial statements, and whether provisional, adjourned, who are the directors who are signing the financials, who are the directors signing the director's report, what is the date of signing, including the auditor signing date. Almost like, 10%, 20% of the form is normally same also, in online also, offline also. About the AGM details, about the subsidiary information, about the auditor information, then few things about consolidation, and the fact that, whether any related party, especially where the utilities are required, the system has to decide whether any particular utility is applicable or not. CSR applicability, secretarial audit, and related party transactions, all this information one by one, next. If we click, all this will come even in the offline utility. Number of qualifications. Then we have in the board report also basic information like how many meetings, how many committee meetings. This is required because the system Excel utility will generate only so many rows and it gets validated. Suppose, say, for example, number of board meetings by mistake I have given 2, but actually it's 3. So Excel utility will take only 2. It will not take more. So again, this is called the parent form, and the Excel utility which is getting generated is called the child forms. So whenever any child, while filling the child form, you realize there is a mistake in the parent form, you have to come back, edit the parent form, create a fresh blank Excel and restart the whole process. That is one painful process. 186 if applicable, loans and investments. And this is the place where I upload the Excels, AOC4 Excel, AOC2, extract of audit report, extract of whatever all Excels are there. I finish it in Excel and then come here, upload, and then proceed and affix the digital signature. Again, the form what I have shown that will get generated for digital signature. This is the process. There again, DSC has to be affixed different places. That also I have one slide I'll show you. And then ultimately it gets uploaded. Here, your doubt is, and with respect to CSR, what the circular says is, presently, if you are filing AOC4, it is expected to be linked form. But we have seen a couple of cases wherein AOC4 XBRL linked form CSR2 had to come as per the notification amendment, but in few cases it is not coming. In that case, separate CSR2 has to be filled, but after filing AOC4. I hope I have cleared all your doubts.
Yes.
I'm moving ahead. With respect to extract of auditor's report, now it's mandatory for any professional who is filling this form to have the soft copy that is in Word with respect to auditor's report, because each of these headings, opinion of the auditor, basis of the opinion, everything has to be copy pasted. And in few cases, we have seen there are word restrictions. So maybe it can continue with as detailed in the signed auditor's report. Key audit matters is a new, all this full thing is a new insertion. We never had this audit report information being captured in the forms. Key audit matters is applicable only for listed companies. So wherever that is information applicable, we have to give. And the new thing what we have realized is this number of qualification, reservation or adverse remark or disclaimer. Here we have to give the number and then type of remark. There is a drop down option. So at the time of receipt of audit report by any professional, on the face of the audit report, we do not have any such reference as to what is a qualification, what is a reservation or adverse remark. Either the professional who is filling the form can have their own interpretation or go check back with the auditor and then accordingly mention it here. Type of remark is a drop down menu, and then what exactly is the remark or qualification has to be mentioned in the third column. Responsibilities, this is actually management responsibility, auditor's responsibility. Almost all the audit report, wherever it is not applicable, we can mention not applicable. Caro, we have observed, whereas everything is copy paste, in Caro, there is no mandatory requirement of copy pasting the entire Caro report. Again, each of the category, either it is favorable or unfavorable. Drop down will be given here. Drop down you select, and then in case it is unfavorable, that time only it is asking details on the comments provided. Suppose in auditor's comment in the drop down, I am selecting favorable, nothing needs to be given in the third column. This is a new way, and like this, so many other options, we have to test and try. And many times in the backend also, the MCA V3 port, it keeps changing. It will not show in, in the front end as if there are no changes, but in the backend there will be many changes we have observed. So we have to keep trying, testing. And it's a maze, like you go hit a roadblock and then you find out your own way. And I'm surprised that this extract of audit report has to be signed only by one director. No auditor reference is given, no two directors, no professional. Ideally, maybe it should have been signed by auditors DSC, but they don't want to complicate this. So they have just kept, so each form we have to understand who has to affix their DSC. Any doubt till now?
Any doubt, they can unmute themselves and ask. I think Shilpaji, we can move ahead.
Yeah. This is another link from extract of board report. We never had this information in the earlier version of V2. It gives me a feeling whether I'm doing XBRL or normal. That is the feeling. Almost each and every data which is required, whatever, if say section 134 is specifying rule 8, 80 and 12 or specifying certain paragraphs, each and every para is getting captured here. And one more concern what I had is we also have the option of abridged board's report with respect to OPC and small companies. Whereas the form is not at all designed to cover that something is not applicable for a small company. Whereas if you see whether companies in OPC or small company, I have given yes. So I have mentioned that my company is a small company in this case, but all the information is coming as if it's other than small company. So maybe, while filling the form, we can mention that, so-and-so clause is not applicable because ours is a small company. So starting itself, web address, I don't know what is the excitement MCA people have. First is the web address. So in case the company has a website, they have to give, or else not applicable. So what has to be given? Take the entity 7, whatever now is applicable. Try to fill the form. Okay. As if give some, say today's date AGM only, it will accept, it will not accept 30th September. Fill the form, remove the date of the AGM, and then, you can give that just as a copy paste image, or you can give this draft entity 7, which is annual return, has to be uploaded in the website of the company, and that web address has to be given here. But thankfully, there are certain interpretations which they say it is not web link, it is a web address. So the professional can take an interpretation that not exactly total web link has to be given with the exact URL, but web address. But this is an interpretation, a liberal interpretation, I can say. And number of meetings held, all this information has to be captured in the board's report itself, and percentage of attendance is automatically calculated. Committee meetings. Director's responsibility statement. If I'm copy pasting the entire text as it stands, at that time only under 134.3c, it is taking. If 1 or 2 line extra or some spaces have given, it is like, say, the directors have devised that another information is getting, disappeared. We have a word limit for this para. So for every copy paste, we have to see whether it is taking full or not, or else just add, please refer the signed director's report. These are all normal for all the companies. Here, auditors' qualifications and director's comment, there is a validation with respect to, if the form is filled online, there is a validation with respect to auditor's report. In the auditor's report, how many qualifications were mentioned, that and this has to match. That's what I meant, that even secretarial auditor also, in the earlier AOC4, we have seen that, this information is filled. So everything the system will validate in the back end. Section 186 is a new insertion, loans and investments made by the company. Actually, if we see the schedule 3, all the information has to be given in the financials itself, but somehow we have not seen this section 186 disclosures made by the company in the financial statements. But ideally it should have been given, but the word is details. in the schedule, it is not clear as to what details it is required. So now all this information, it is expected, applicability first, and then whether it is beyond certain limits, and a basic information with respect to identifying the, which company loans or investments are made by the company, the name of the party, all this in detail, amount, date of passing board resolution, whether the transaction falls. Because of this line, I am taking an interpretation that this is not with respect to outstandings. When I have already made certain investments in any other company in the previous financial year, my view is that this is not required, because it looks more to me that this is transaction related during the year and not outstanding. If any loans or investments I have in another company, not balance sheet items only, not outstandings, but transactions only. And again, I'm giving a disclaimer. These are all my personal views. The professional can take a conservative view or liberal view before proceeding to fill the form.
Shilpa ji, Mr. Daksha has one question. He has it in the chat box. How many forms is being added with respect to annual filings?
Okay, with respect to annual filing, as I say, AOC 4, then AOC 4 CFS, then AOC 4 CSR. Then we have AOC 1, AOC 2, board's report, auditor's report, and NBFC separately. XBRL also is separate. And MGT 7, MGT 7A. And new version, again, if you all remember, ADT 1, 2, 3 and all we used to file in V2. Now all of that has come in V3. The cost audit report also, CRA 4, all that also has come into V3. Almost all the annual filing forms now are in V3. And I can say some other non-annual filing form like LEAP, with respect to layers also there was one form, CLR1, then LEAP there was one form. So many other forms also have come to V3. As my initial slides I show 38 forms totally.
I hope, Dakshi, this answers your query. If you don't want to unmute, you can just write yes or no in the chat box also.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Shilpa ji, there's another question from Mr. Gaurav Jan. Ma'am, whether professional certification is mandatory now for even small companies for AOC 4?
We have filed a form and we have seen that it is not asking. For small companies, it is not asking professional certification.
Ma'am, in my case, it asked the professional certification also. That's why I wanted to check.
Actually, again, I'm telling you, this is a user-specific issue. In fact, one case, what I tried is, I tried one form with respect to company login ID. Unfortunately, it asked for my professional certification. And then I canceled the form and I used my professional login ID. It did not take. So again, whatever these concerns, whatever professionals are expecting, it is user-specific, but nothing to do with the MCA. Site is fine, but then it acts funny with respect to few logins, few times, few technical glitches. So maybe you can try in some other system also once.
Yeah, okay. No, I didn't try canceling because I took a lot of time to prepare the form. So I certified and filed.
I know.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. With respect to CSR, there is a new information with respect to implementing agency also. So in case CSR, the company has not opted for direct spending and has appointed an implementing agency, even the name, address, email, all this information has to be given in the board's report. In fact, this is my personal view and this is a suggestion for Ministry of Corporate Affairs, that there are certain disclosures which are given in the board's report here. Then there is a separate CSR too also. So either the information can be, taken out from here board report and then taken in CSR too, because any which ways that is a linked form now. So that's a suggestion which I wanted to give. Just one thing, details regarding foreign exchange earnings and outgo. Normally in the financials, the company is expected to give with respect to accrual basis, and in the board's report, it is cash basis. So whatever is inflow and whatever is outflow, that has to be given. So not in every case, accrual and cash basis are same. So the professional filling this board's report can take care of this. And there is no specific change in this place. And sometimes I have seen the professionals might have missed taking this new amendments with respect to, with respect to the company, any IBC case has been filed or any valuation was done with respect to one-time settlement at the bank. These were already there, But then some professionals sometimes would have overlooked and not considered here, but now specifically this is getting captured. So whenever anyone is preparing director's report, better to cross check whether everything is done or not according to the sections applicable. And otherwise here what will we write? Here we say not applicable or nil, then system will easily capture and say that, nil is fine. But then in signed director's report is not having any such information, then there could be a non-compliance. But just to share that this is not applicable for small companies. Deposits accepted during the year actually we have observed that while we are filling this information, the system is trying to capture the information from DPT3. We are yet to test it much in depth, but it is showing error. Some figure I tried to do just as a test, and then the system throwed an error. You have already filed DPT3. That number and this number is not filling. Please change the numbers or match it with DPT3. So please be careful while filling the information.
So, ma'am, one question: in case if we made the deputy filing at the time of non-audit and all, and some wrong figure was filed in DPT3, so now how to match it? Whether we can revise DPT3?
No, revision of DPT3 is not permitted. Actually, that is a concern for us also. So maybe, we have to suggest to MCA not to give that validation, because DPT3 is on the basis of unaudited financials, and now we have audited financials, and there could be a change. So that validation actually is a wrong validation which MCA has inserted. So maybe we can raise a ticket or, request a suggestion to ministry.
Okay, thank you.
Shilpa, but as of now, to get the form filed, we have to fill the same numbers what we filled in DPT3, even if it does not matches the audited, right?
Yes, and in an optional attachment down, we can have a clarification letter. The DP3 was based on unaudited, and these figures is slightly different as per the audited financials.
Okay.
Now, this is a new amendment. All of you might have seen the highlights with respect to the new MCA amendments with respect to migration, as well as this inclusion in the director's report. Under POSH Act, the company has to give in the board report the disclosure with respect to complaints received, how many has been disposed of. And this is with respect to full year. And in case the complaints have not been addressed, in less than 90 days, even that information has to be captured. So in case the professional is certifying, in case it's not a small company, the professional is certifying, so we have to check and thoroughly ensure that systems are in place in compliance with POSH. And all these two information with respect to POSH and maternity benefit, this is not again applicable for a small company. So maybe they can say not applicable. But if it is other than small company, the statement that the company has complied with Maternity Benefit Act, first of all, I suggest that the company better to have a checklist as to what is required, whether it is with respect to maternity benefit when a child, availed by the female employees of the company, or certain other benefits like, recently I was going through Maternity Benefit Act. I was surprised to see that, even in case of MTP, medical termination of pregnancy, and a tracheotomy operation for a female employee, certain minimum week, I think 2 or 3 weeks is again permitted as a leave under maternity benefit. So whether the company has this policy, whether they are complying all of this, all the specific statements of confirmation we have to take as a professional from the company. Again, this is
Mr. Daksha has one question. Even in CSR, net profits amount are also the same as DPT3. Is it amendable?
pardon, CSR figures.
You can see the chat box. I'm repeating. Even in CSR, net profits amount are also the same as DPT3. Is it amendable?
In CSR, almost all the information we can enter. That there is no validation error in CSR. While giving the information of CSR, if the previous year profit figures are given, it is editable. It is not taking any validation at the CSR level. Only DPT3, we have this validation error.
Yes, Miss Jayashree Mulidharan, ma'am, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, Shilpa ma'am. Thank you, sir. I just have a small query. This POSH related compliance that you just mentioned, does it refer to the action that needs to be taken within the 90 days, or is it that the complaint should be resolved within 90 days? Because most of the cases, it involves a lot of inquiry, a lot of investigation that's going into the process, right? It may not be possible to complete within 90 days. So my understanding is that the company should have taken some action, maybe even ensured that the IC is met couple of times and the inquiry process is commenced. So what exactly should we mention there? Yes, ma'am. Sorry, go ahead.
The law is not very clear on this aspect, but we just have this amendment, number of sexual complaints beyond 90 days. But yes,
Huh.
whatever view you have taken is correct. So maybe if you feel that still questions could be raised, some clarification letter could be required. But then on the face of it, I say even I agree with your view. Some action, because 90 days is such a small time. Normally, these complaints may or may not be resolved in such a short time.
Correct, correct. So anyways, received and disposed of will be one and one. I mean, we are
Yes.
done with maybe we would have resolved. So if it's beyond 90 days, so it's up to our discretion to interpret it in the way we want, right?
But then I feel, maybe statutory authorities want it to be disposed of within 90 days. I think this is more with respect to spirit of the law rather than the
I
letter of law.
understand.
The word
Uh-huh.
disposed or action taken that been missing, but on a plain
Mhm.
reading, the spirit of the law seems to be disposed of as soon as possible or disclose here.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Fine. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is a new addition with respect to gender profiling of the employees. Here again, there are certain concerns with respect to contractual employees, whether any professional is giving services as on contract basis and TDS on professional fees is being deducted. So there were some queries from the company whether they can be considered or not. So this is my personal view. Only whoever are in payroll, TDS on salaries, PF, ESI, for whom we are considering, only they can be considered as employees. Otherwise, according to my view, no. Female, male, trans, all this gender profiling needs to be disclosed. And whatever other matters are not provided till now, all of that should be given here. And number of other matters, whatever we are giving number, accordingly separate options will be disclosed. So under each heading reference separately, we have to give. I'll be just fast in this. With respect to director's report, only director's digital signature is required. Offline submission I have considered. Now with respect to online submission of AOC 4, we have already seen, wherein I have showed, what all the information I have to fill so that the Excel utilities get generated. Each one file separately I will show. This is the AOC 4 which got generated when I tried to do offline filing. And whatever is in gray color, it's already pre-filled. So I have given some information in the parent offline form and that is auto-filled and I cannot change this. All the information here again cannot be copy-pasted from other previous Excel form. Blank form will come and I have to retype, or inside this Excel I can go like this, but not as such copy paste like this. Copy paste and all is not permitted. I will just quickly scroll through. All of this we have already done. So this is the Excel and this is the Excel for board's report. Same thing, whatever we have seen in the PDF and the time of Excel, I can just, but here, this is what I was worried. Number of meetings held in case the trainee, whoever is doing or the professional who are filling is wrong. Again, it's a double work. Everything I have to redo. All the Excels will come blank again to me. Everything I have to redo. So whoever chooses to do offline form, please be careful as to what you are filling in the parent form.
Just one question. Instead, if can companies for whom AOC 4 is not AOC for XBRL is not applicable, can they still choose to file AOC for XBRL instead of filling up so many forms and Excels?
AOC for XBRL, once you choose, that I think is automatic. We cannot choose like that. What I want to say is, when any company chooses to file in XBRL mode, once it starts, automatically it has to do forever. There is no ending, either optional or mandatory, whichever
Definitely,
is.
but seeing earlier AOC for XBRL was difficult, but now this normal form AOC for normal appears more difficult than XBRL, I feel so.
But my view is that, especially we have trainees who normally help us in filling the forms. They are very tech savvy and they were able to pick up all the information quite fast when compared to the, professionals like us who took long time to understand how this affects. But it takes couple of times trial and error experiences. See, for example, in one of the cases, we got so many errors. Mostly it is like zero is there, not there. When we take this Excel online, it is always, on the face of it, we get all the validation errors. But in case it is offline, similar to XBRL, we get these errors. So this was our first attempt when we got so many. Most of it is like, some zero is not there. And we tried to give test information, so it was not matching with the, certain other fields which are relevant. But with some trial and error, it's possible. But it will take some time. So this is the audit report. So I'll just quickly show AOC 1. In AOC 1, with respect to subsidiary, associate or joint venture, this SIN or other registration number is mandatory. Earlier, this was not actually required because this information we only had to file signed. So this information is required, or else all other information is available. So as I say, all the information to be specifically readily available, then we can quickly complete this, or else if we keep on searching, when the form or utility is open, again, it's going to take a long time. How many ever, whatever is in gray is already filled in the parent form. So this is how Excel utility works. I'm being fast considering the time. It's related party transactions. This was actually in V2 form. In one way, we were actually giving that information in a particular place in AOC4. Now it's just that we have a separate linked form or Excel utility. All of this, it's so easy for the government to understand, apply the provisions and send a e-show cause notice in case non-compliances are there. And this AOC2, again, only one director has to certify the form. No need of professional. AOC4 CFS, in fact, I had a concern. Even in the earlier AOC4 CFS also, a lot of unwanted information is being asked. Already we have given all this information in AOC4 normal. Now the same information I have to give in CFS. Consolidated numbers here are fine, but long-term borrowings, consolidated, short-term borrowings, all this actually, it's just my personal opinion. All this, it's taking so much time. Suppose everything is applicable to a company, it is taking so much time to fill all this information, at a consolidated level. I don't know why each of these entries, whatever this 50 till now we have seen, all this information maybe could have been avoided at consolidated level is my view. But then yes, the law as it stands now, we have to give all this information. CSR2, I'll just skip considering the paucity of time. This is an online AOC for XBRL. Basic information with respect to financial year, date of meeting, board meeting, AGM, whether consolidation required or not required, secretarial audit applicability, CSR applicability, and then one of the amendment which has come is copy of the financial statements. So earlier in XBRL, we never used to file signed financials. Now the full financial statements have to be attached. Now we are shifting to MGT 7. Anyone else has any point on AOC 4? Yeah, we shall proceed. This I've taken example of a calendar year. Usually in MNCs, they follow the calendar year, whichever is applicable for the parent company. So this particular test we have made for this MGT 7. Yeah, type of annual filing. Earlier, professionals used to file revised MGT7, but there was no specific provision as such. Now, there is a specific provision of revision. Again, with respect to revision of MGT7, there is no specific procedure expected. Like unlike AOC4, wherein I said financial statements or director's report or both can be revised only with respect to NCLT order, that kind of provision is not there in MGT7. So, in case I want to take a liberal view, yes, maybe company can decide in case there are any typo errors. And as in that case, revision option can be selected and SRN of MGT7 filed earlier can be provided. And the new addition is the information about the company is given both as on filing date, as on the financial year end date. We have experienced that as of filing date and as on financial year end date, both are same. So example, registered office address, as on financial year end date, there could be a different example. In June month, I have changed the shifting of registered office. In this form, it will show same, but I have to go and edit this form as on the financial year end date and make it whatever was applicable as of that. In this case, 31st December 2024. And this latitude and longitude is a new insertion in the MGT7. Earlier, this was not captured. As we have seen initially, the MCA collected all the forms, latitude, all the companies latitude, longitude via active form. Then in the SPICE form itself, it got the information was captured. Even INC 22 also, this information is getting captured. So wherever the information is already captured, this information is pre-filled. If it is not pre-filled, it has to be filled. And I suggest not to restrict the latitude, longitude with 2 or 3 decimals. Whatever maximum extent the form is taking, please use that. Otherwise, if you narrow down the latitude, longitude with 2 decimals, maybe it will give an incorrect location. Photograph of the registered office of the company showing external building and name prominently visible. In case of a big building, external building, no one can see in the photo the name board of the company. So I specifically request that, this being a PDF form, maybe in case you're not able to capture the name board while you are taking the picture of the external building, 2 photos can be provided. All the name board applicable provision should be followed. In the name board, SIN should be there, address should be there, and name of the company definitely has to be there. And in Karnataka, local law says that the company name and address should also be reflected in Kannada language, which is a local language. So in case you have any local laws which expect the name board to be in a particular fashion, you have to follow that as well. Email ID, I have already said it is pre-filled. Wherever the company has taken ISIN and appointed RTA, that information has to be captured here. This extended due date of AGM after grant of extension, it was there in AOC4 also. I'm thinking if AOC4 is filed, now I'm testing for different companies, so I don't know. So maybe if you file AOC4, after that start filling MGT7, this could get pre-filled. But I have not tested this. As I said here in MGT7, the preferential capital number of classes is clearly given, so class-wise information can be provided. No other changes in this place. Details of shares or debenture transfers. This, in case I am giving an online form, that will be an Excel utility. I just click yes, there will be an Excel utility. So these are the proper instructions. So whenever any file is downloaded, we have to unblock it, enable content, and then only we can edit. All this date of transfer, type of transfer, class of shares, all this information, whatever is required has to be entered. This was there in V2 also, but not as an Excel form. It was just as a process of MGT7, this was captured. Now specifically, it's an Excel utility. So there, when I say yes, it will ask for how many transfers are there. So if I say 2, I can fill only 2. And then I can save and then upload the Excel file. If I am trying to enter 3, it will not take. So at that time, what I have to do, again, I have to go back to the form, make the edit, and then download the new version, discard the old Excel, what I have done, upload the new version. And somewhere holding and subsidiary information was also required. So that is also an Excel utility. When I'm doing online, I download the Excel for all the subsidiary holding and then associate and joint venture, and then I upload. While giving the debenture information, I was surprised. They have asked non-convertible debentures, partly convertible, and fully convertible. So optionally convertible information is not there. So maybe company can add in one of the criteria and give a clarification letter. Actually, OCDs are also popular in industry. See, if you see optionally convertible, there is no place. Just an information, securities, any other security company has issued that information. This is already there in V2. No other change in shareholding pattern. Here, gender profiling of shareholders, including promoters, non-promoters, is being done. So this is also a specific information which the professional, sometimes the names could be misleading. Say in my name, Kiran is there. So Kiran is taken by male or female. So we always suggest, please take a confirmation from the company with respect to gender profiling and accordingly fill the information in this NGT7. This is a new insertion, foreign institutional investors holding. Earlier, this information was not being captured in NGT7. With respect to number of meetings held, shareholders meeting, the percentage of total shareholding is not pre-filled, unlike the board meetings wherein attendance is pre-filled, because voting rights could depend upon the class-wise. So whatever is the dilutive shareholding pattern, accordingly the percentage of total shareholding can be considered. Diluting, I mean, as if converted basis. In case convertible preferential shares are there, we convert them as if they are converted and then arrive at the percentage. What in case they have attended, what could be the percentage of total shareholding applicable for them. And again, here I want to say members are entitled to attend the meeting. Even preference shareholders are entitled to attend. So number of members attended is also we can give preference shareholders. Remuneration of director, specifically, I don't know why this, actually this is not required information, but yes, in V2 we had, now also they are continuing. List of shareholders and debenture holders, again, it's an Excel utility. We have two different worksheets, sheet without validations and sheet with validations. Suppose the professional who is filling the form chooses not to have any validation, any information he can just fill. Some information is pending or blank, still it is fine, that can be uploaded. But in case the professional chooses to use this validation, all the information, this is just a typed figure, whereas here it's a drop down. Gender again is a drop down. Here we have to specifically mention the income tax PAN. So this actually, as per register of members standard format PAN is captured. Even list of allottees PS3 we capture, but in case the company is not having information, they have to collect and mention it. Or the professional can choose, if you don't have the PAN of all the shareholders, you can choose share sheet without validations and proceed to file the form. So you have to choose the category in this case in LLP, identification number, occupation, number of securities held, nominal value, and total number of securities held. Any doubt here? Type of security can be equity, debentures, preference. And class of security, anything can be typed, which describes the class. Again, this is an Excel utility. This is a standard instruction for in case anyone is filling the Excel form. It has to be MS Excel version 2021 Office 365. Then you have to understand cut, copy, paste is not permitted. And you can't edit the form, edit the fields. Whatever is applicable fields, only that can be entered. Especially the gray ones are pre-filled. The light blue ones only can be entered.
Shilpa,
So
one question. Just now you were displaying this sheet of list of shareholders, I believe. So you said PAN is mandatory, but I have also filled up for my company form yesterday, and nowhere PAN is appearing. It's not asking PAN, DPID, client ID, account number it is asking, but PAN number it is not asking.
actually, this also we have observed that, whatever fields are getting generated. In my case, I have mentioned that RTA, register and transfer agent, is not applicable. So in my case, it did not show DPID, client ID and all. It just showed, the registration number, that's all. So we have seen that, couple of the Excel forms which are getting generated are specific to that company.
Okay,
We have
got it.
observed this.
And one more thing in the form, though the company has ISIN, but if it is a private limited company, I think it is not asking because it's a private limited company. It's coming gray, so we cannot fill any ISIN number in the form.
Yes. Yes, actually, it should have been
Enabled,
validated
no matter what is the status of the
and
company.
other than small company, but somewhere validation errors are going wrong. Somewhere, it's just a trial and error. So as and when we are having an issue, the only thing is we can raise a ticket.
Okay.
One important thing what I want to highlight here is whenever any Excel utility is created, upload your filled Excel form is the option what I get. Suppose I have uploaded the older version. Say, for example, I have created say number of meetings 2 or 3, whatever is there. Initially, I have done another first version, and then second, I have changed to different version. Now I'm trying to upload version 1, whereas version 2 was the right version which I had to use. So this is the error. I cannot proceed at all with the earlier version 1, which according to the system is incorrect. I should have ideally used version 2. Yes, anyone else has any doubt? We are almost coming to the end of the session. And this slide depicts what are the professional signature wherever is required. Certification by CA is actually expected in AOC 1 in case of other than small company, and AOC 4, AOC 4 XBRL, and MGT 7. No other place professional signature is expected. And MCA has released FAQs with respect to MCA, annual filing, migration, and all of that. In case multiple forms, the offline function is there. This is simple, I have already explained. And we have total instructions how to fill offline mode. Please go through the instructions before proceeding Excel. There are two options, as I have said, online and offline. I cannot mix match. Say, for example, parent company, I fill considering that, I will again proceed online. That is not possible. Initially itself, I have to decide whether I'm going online or offline. Accordingly, the correct form has to be selected. How about the previous year annual filings? Now everything is permitted in V3. No V2. V2 is closed. CSR2, as I have already told, CSR2 and AOC4 CFS separate is also permitted. All the annual filing forms presently are considered other than rounding off. So please take care, take the final version of Excel from the company and then proceed to file. And please do proofreading so that, sometimes an earlier version of Excel given to us, which is not matching with PDF, will again give a wrong disclosures by the company. So please be careful. One minute. With respect to MGT 7, I have missed certain points. Yeah. So after this list of shareholders and optional attachments, we have this MGT 8. So there was a big hue and cry in professional circles because the form as it was designed earlier has all the content of MGT 8 and just the DSC of the professional. There was no reference at all anywhere with respect to any qualifications, any extra points or anything not applicable. The form as it stands now does not have any provision with respect to this. And ICSI has come out with an internal circular saying that this information can be attached to this, the signed MGT 8 can be attached, and this is mandatorily to be required because otherwise how the peer review, whether the professional who is signing the MGT 8 is peer reviewed or not, whether he has taken MGT UDIN or not, cannot be known just by putting digital signature. So all the professionals have to compulsorily attach MGT 8 duly signed. And one more information.
Shilpa, one more question here. When professionals they issue MGT8, suppose it has been issued on 25th July, the hard copy. Okay, we attach that in the form, and now when we are uploading the form, in the form itself, it is asking for PCS who's certifying MGT8 the date. So that date has to be the physical certificate what has been issued, or the date on which he is affixing his DSC on the form, or it can be any date.
It is the DSC affixing date.
Okay, thank you. So the physical certificate can precede the DSC affixing date, correct?
Yes, especially in this era of V3 wherein, multiple attempts are required offline, online, so permitted.
Okay, thank you.
After all this information, people should not forget to, fill this information. This is with respect to declaration under Rule 9(4) of the Company's Management and Administration Rules. This is with respect to beneficial ownership. Earlier, we all know that a rule was, and as per Rule 9(4), we have to give disclosure with respect to the designated person who is authorized or responsible to give the beneficial ownership. Ideally, for a private company where they do not have any whole-time director, managing director, or CS or CFO, all the directors are expected to give this, or liable to give this information. But the form, as it stands now, as it designed, one person has to be designated with respect to who is responsible to give the beneficial ownership declaration. Accordingly, we have to give the information. In case we want to give any clarification, it can be via clarification letter. Yeah, I had missed this, so I came back and took up this. File. Yeah, so there is a restriction with respect to file size. Yeah, with respect to MGT7, 300 MB, 15 files of 20 MB each. Actually, I'm also concerned with respect to listed company, how the RTA will be providing the information in Excel and how that can be attached, because here there is a limit. List of shareholders, debenture holders, attachment size limit is increased to 300 MB. But whether this data it's possible to capture or not, So I request that the professionals can check with the RTA, get the information from the RTA in this relevant place, and then I think list of shareholders and debenture holders, it's very difficult. At least this is permitted, but share transfers, with respect to list of share transfers, here specifically there is no exemption with respect to listed company. But once the SIN number is listed, maybe the form will not ask for share transfers Excel attachment. And with respect to AOC4, total attachment limit is 10 MB, and this 2 MB limit for each attachment is not applicable. Now in V3, whenever any public inspection has to be done, all the forms, V2 forms are also available. But however, we have observed if there are no forms in the V3 system, like companies recently incorporated, sometimes fee payment itself is error is thrown that no forms are there. Do you still want to proceed with public inspection or not? Wherever MGT7 is applicable, not necessary MGT8 is also applicable. For MGT8, more than 10 crore and paid up capital more than 10 crore and turnover more than 50 crore are the triggering limits. So it's a question. Anyone, I request anyone to unmute themselves and if they can answer. XYZ Private Limited filed AOC for an MGT7. Can the company file revised return if there is any mistakes in the forms? So first one is AOC4. Anyone would like to take this question? If I have made any mistake in the AOC4, can I refile it? Actually, the revision till now, whatever we have discussed is with respect to the financials, board report, or both. It is not with respect to AOC4. Okay. But when the financials are changed, at that time, after approaching NCLT, again we can file a revised AOC4. But there are only typo errors in AOC4, it is not permitted. With respect to MGT7, yes, no specific NCLT order is required. MGT7 can be, we can proceed. Revision of board's report, yeah, NCLT order is required. INC 28, all this information has to be provided. Which link form is applicable for filing form AOC for XBRL and MCA V3? Only applicable is CSR2. Yeah, there is a question. Anyone would like to answer this question? When the photo should be taken? Whether if I have taken last year, can I use it now?
Not last year, but something recently, I think.
Yes, that's the spirit of law. Whichever is the recent possible date, maybe 15 days, 20 days back or 1 month back also is permitted if it is reasonable and there is no change. But it should be, C is the right option. It should be date of filing or close to this date. Few questions we have received that whether the photo with latitude and longitude is required. Suppose any professional is certifying the form, we suggest that, to verify the authenticity of the photo, it's better that, latitude, longitude is required. We can be very sure that yes, photo was real and registered office was there in that place. Can we choose offline mode for parent form and online mode for linked forms or vice versa? No, online, offline hodgepodge is not permitted. Which forms can be filed in offline mode? Anyone wants to take this? This is quite simple. So this is only AOC4 and MGT7, only D option we have in offline mode. All others are online mode only. And these are the connected amendments to the rules. All these rules, they have amended to ensure E-form in V3 mode. This is CRA2 with respect to appointment of cost auditor, which has come in V3. GNL1 to seek approval from, this is now a V3 form. Earlier it was V2 form. Now it is a E form. CSR1, when any entity wants to get registered itself as a CSR, to give CSR activity, CSR1. LEAP1, in case, I want to list my shares in permissible jurisdictions. Say, for example, Gift City, I want to list my shares, I have to file LEAP1. Active form, this is actually old form, now it is in V3. CLR1, this is actually layers, this is quite complicated. Actually, it is not required. At that time when this notification came, how many layers are there they had to disclose. So now this is not relevant, but then this form is there in V3. And few suggestions I have for MCA. In AOC4, you are not asking for the ministry, the form as it stands is not expecting rounding of figures, but in financials it is there. So uniformity can be maintained. And AOC1 information, whether clarity, LLP consolidation is required, not required. As it stands now, the law is not very clear. Mostly in a conservative view, yes, it is required, but how in a different format of balance sheet and P&L, LLP is different, company is different, how that consolidation happens again is a point of concern among the professionals. And AOC1, AOC2, AOC2 is actually director's report annexure. AOC1 is actually financials, but still, only one DSC, one director DSC is intimated and mentioned in the forms. So maybe that can match with the signatures requirement. CSR2, in case of XBRL, actually there is no requirement for a separate CSR2 linked form. Everything is already tagged in XBRL, so that case can be considered by ministry. As I have already told, consolidated P&L balance sheet, many detailed information is given in consolidated level, which can be avoided. For listed companies, as soon as the AGM is concluded, the company has to file MGT 15 within 30 days. But then stock exchange intimation, those regulations are much harder. Actually, for listed companies, maybe this is redundant, so the ministry can consider to remove the requirement of MGT 15 for listed companies. And the form as it stands now does not have the option of giving multiple ISINs. So actually, as you all know, for each class, different ISIN is given. So MGT 7 better to modify and redesign on this point. And yeah, full text of MGT 8 should not be there. Yeah, with this, I have come to conclusion. Sorry, I have exceeded maybe 2 minutes. So yes.
There's no time limit for education and knowledge sharing.
Shilpa, just once again, can you repeat the what kind of preventions or things that we have to focus on when we are downloading the Excel utility and then again uploading it?
Excel utility, first thing is the system requirement, whether the Excel is correct or not, whether the system itself, MS version is correct or not. And then all the information is readily available because the offline utility starts with a parent form. In the parent form, whatever fields are required to be filled, In case it is wrong filled, it's really pain because we have to redo the whole process. So where the utilities are, where there are linked forms, like say, for example, AOC1, whether applicable or not, AOC2 applicable or not. In case of MGT7, what is the number of meetings? Wherever this question is there in the in the parent form, we have to be carefully decide and then proceed. And then in the end, I fill all the Excel. Again, I attach it. At that time, validation errors could come. All that validation errors, again, we have to remove, rectify it, and then upload it again.
Oh, got it. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody have any other question? If there's anybody else have any question, you can also write to ma'am, or you can also send a email to us. We will forward it to the speaker and get back to you.
And I would like to thank Neeraj Agarwal and FinTrack Advisors for giving an opportunity to me to share my thoughts on a relevant topic like V3 migration.
And the pleasure is all ours. This is a small token of appreciation from Team FinTrack to you for taking this excellent session. And we hope that in the near future also you will continue to enlighten us with more such sessions.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you so much.
So I will take the consent of all the participants and close today's session. Anybody, the PPT will be shared on mail to all the participants. And anybody has any question, they can reach out to ma'am or even send us a mail. We look forward to your continued participation in our upcoming webinars. Thank you all for joining.
Thanks to all the participants for a patient hearing and making it more interactive.